Good morning, video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by three very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tommy Daslow, and with me, as always...
Ben Vanel here, Tommy, and you, for the very first time on this podcast, delivered your intro down the barrel of a camera.
I sure did, folks.
Hello, Tommy. Hello,
We
Tommy
have
and
more
Ben.
than one camera.
Hello. We're in our new studio. We've put up a little bit of sound baffling so far. There's a cool like uni frat house style couch yet to come.
Yes.
Yep.
We got a couple more of these baffling bits, but
What's the saying? You either die doing a podcast in an echoey room or you live long enough to see yourself become a baffling enthusiast.
I think that's the
Yeah.
commonly used saying. It's useful because it can apply to so many facets of life.
Yeah. Commissioner Gordon said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He commissioned podcasts out of his Batman with a
Batcave?
podcast. Hey everybody, Batcoin is doing real well. Everyone invest in Batcoin. Mm-hmm. I don't really sound like Batman, do I?
And what kind of podcast are you doing?
They're every kind. They're all investing now. We should get into it.
All right.
The Batcast. Batman would have a podcast, I reckon.
Yeah.
I guess
It'd be like, you know, someone had come to him and be like, it's a good thing for the brand. If you just do like a weekly, you sort of
Right.
sum up the little cases you solved.
You can have fun without crime. Here's a list of fun places to go in Gotham where you don't even need to do a single crime. The Botanic Gardens, unless you're Poison Ivy, don't go there then.
I had the Joker booked in for a guest tomorrow and he just pulled out. Now I'm texting the Riddler and the Penguin to see if they can do it.
Yeah. So here's something they don't really talk about. Robin's shaking his head at me because we've been arguing about this all day. Robin, bring up that video of the donkey kicking the gorilla.
But yeah, if
That's
you're,
who we are now.
If you listen to the regular podcast feed, we are now going to have these up on YouTube as well, so you can see us visually.
Assuming that this doesn't break because we're
Right.
trying it. If it's not there, you know something broke.
But if it is there, yes, this is how I dress when I know I'm going to be on camera.
We've also got, in honor of having some video stuff here, this won't be normal to have all our gamer-branded drinks and snacks.
Yeah.
No, we don't normally have any. This
Yeah.
was donated kindly by listener Warren, who has had it for a long time.
Long enough, and it's taken us long enough to get around to it that we where's the best?
It's on the
before
bottom.
here? 7th of January.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That
we've
was-
got, for the listener at home, we've got Pringles Wavy MOA Burger flavored Halo tie-in.
That's right.
Pringles, and then...
What's the MOA? Is that a Halo thing?
Is it Moa? I think it might just be a Moa burger.
Oh, okay.
What's a Moa burger?
Well, not much. What's a Moa burger with you?
Fucking
Oh,
yes.
nice.
Yes.
I
All
feel
right,
like
mission accomplished, Warren.
I think I googled this like when we first got them because it isn't a Halo specific burger. Oh no,
right.
maybe it's a burger from. I have a Halo cookbook.
Yeah.
I got some video game cookbooks that I thought we could cook some stuff out of one day.
Sure, yeah. We'll bring in a little like gas-powered hot plate and do it on the table here.
Hibachi grill.
yeah.
Yeah, sick. We have video podcasts for 2 weeks before we burn down the place we're renting.
You've got you've got a Final Fantasy cookbook.
I got a
as
Final
well?
Fantasy cookbook and a Halo cookbook. The Final Fantasy one is fun because it's lots of like, instead of saying chicken, it'll say chocobo or whatever. I don't think they eat chocobos.
No.
But some...
That'd be like eating horse or something.
Which people do. Remember those lasagnas that had a bunch of horse in them?
Yeah,
Oh,
but that
yeah.
was a mistake, I believe.
Well, I
Is
did
it-
it deliberately. I told you it was a mistake at the time, but...
Is it carrying through the whole recipe? Is it like any time it's mentioning like, cook the chicken for fire? Is it like saying cook the chocobo, but then brackets chicken? It's
chicken.
It's chicken.
Well, we'll explore more when we do, but then the Halo one is just like, yeah, they'd probably have burgers in the Halo military. Here's a burger.
Yeah, I bet somewhere out there.
They should
Yeah.
all be like, this should be like a freeze-dried burger. You know, like those military packs?
Space shit.
Space shit, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, and we've got like Call of Duty Mountain Dews,
Yeah.
game fuel.
Game Fuel.
This is American stuff is the point. We don't get this sort of thing
Yeah.
over here in the same way.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure I remember the backstory of this. Did Warren get these shipped to him, or was he recently over in the States?
He's
and
over
brought this
there.
back with him.
Yeah, he was over there. I think he may live there now.
I think he works
Okay.
there
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the Game
He-
Fuel factory.
He sidled up to us at the live show.
Well,
with a
he He yelled my name across a bar.
Oh, okay. Well, no, no. Okay, here's the sequence of events.
Okay.
He does that to you.
Yes.
You then palm him off to me because you didn't want to carry the bag around.
This-
So
Yeah.
he comes up to me with a Woolworths bag that seems to be very heavy, and there was a moment where I thought, this is how I die.
Is there a ticking sound coming from that bag?
This is like, you know how in recipes they'll be like, well, the first time I ate this was when I was trapped in a cabin in an avalanche.
Yes.
This is the taste test equivalent of that, where like
Yeah.
before we tasted these, the story is we met
We're,
with Warren.
we're
He's had
telling the farm to table story.
Yeah. It's trying to scroll down the recipe like, good Lord. This
Yeah.
paragraph about visiting Italy goes forever.
We've got a yellow, a red, a blue, and a green.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
this
three
one,
of the Pringles are the same.
yellow is charged tropical strike flavor.
Yeah, no. I don't want to drink anything that doesn't have an aggressive word in it.
Yeah.
You're in luck because this one's charged berry blast.
That's the blue.
Yep.
Green is charged original dew.
Okay.
I guess I'll
Like
have
this
that one.
Classic Mountain Dew
But
flavor.
it's charged. Is that
Oh,
just caffeine?
dew with a D.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the red one. I forgot about
charged
red.
Cherry burst.
Nice. Is there an
Ooh.
agnostic one? No, I guess I'm 18. All right. Well, who
And
does
Knox,
anyone?
you're the fizzy drink aficionado out
That's
of the
true.
three of us.
I have a problem with energy drinks.
Yep.
You're also the
But-
Call of Duty aficionado. So
These are made for me,
Yeah.
and I'm really embarrassed by that, but it is true. So
Look, that's you.
I'll let.
That's you and your little friends, Adam.
Yeah, I've
Are you
got
winning, son?
Shut the fuck up.
how do you open these?
They've got strange like black pull tabs on the top. I assume that this larger bit you just move forward and rip it all off or something.
It says open at
You
this
guys
end.
pick the flavors you want.
Really?
And I'll
Okay.
have whatever's left.
I generally like blue flavor.
Go blue.
I'm going to try a cherry.
Nice.
I don't mind a cherry flavor.
Oh, sure.
Well,
like
I'll
a cherry
try
Coke.
the yellow because I feel like the Mountain Dew is the most normal.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
Now we've
true.
got all our fucking electronic shit on the desk.
Yeah, I
too,
think I
so-
nominate Tommy to open the cans. 'cause
Over
he's
in
also
this
got
corner over
yeah,
here.
got
You
Yeah.
don't want
a mic
to. You don't want
stand.
to into the mic.
Yeah, do it over my laptop, cunt.
Ooh,
Okay.
what the hell?
We also don't have cans in Australia.
No,
so
no,
This
no.
is a very. I've never seen a ring pull like this.
It's
Okay,
a bit
cool.
weird.
So
I
you,
think you
you
might
pop it
be
up and
doing
then
it
you slide it back.
backwards.
no, I think I've. Yeah, okay. I think I've got it.
Yeah, because it
Oh,
says,
okay,
it
it
says
slides
open
back.
on the end. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look, see.
Don't even do it as a joke.
All right.
Technology is the most important thing to be. Oh, you get those fucking slurping
that was a
sounds
real
on there
slurp.
too.
That just tastes like a flat cherry drink, my friends.
Yeah. Those,
Can you
I
open this
assume
for
from
me, please,
January
Tommy?
Yeah,
too.
sure.
I'm
what's
excited.
the moment? Oh, there we go. And now
Damn,
pop it
bitch.
back.
That is kind of cool that you
Yeah.
slide it back like a. And can you open my yellow one, please, Daddy?
It would be my honor.
Oh, we're getting real ASMR shit happening
Yeah.
here. It's disgusting.
Yeah, this tastes like blue cordial.
Right? Are they all flat?
They're all pretty flat, I think.
It's mine's definitely flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the yellow tastes like lemonade.
But weirdly, that's making me like it more. It doesn't taste
Okay.
like I'm drinking an unhealthy soda.
Right.
It just does taste like it tastes like a cordial.
It does, doesn't it?
Look
yeah.
at us learning about branding in real time.
It also
They don't
contains,
even taste that different. It's like all the labels are just for show.
It contains vitamins A and B. And
Nice.
it also provides or, assists with alertness and accuracy.
Oh yeah.
So-
Accuracy I need.
Yeah, for this podcast, we're going to get everything right.
It's true. We fucked this. We should save that green one for when we're sitting in front of Call of Duty and do a
performance test.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I also took a little something before I came in to give me both of these things.
Okay.
Now,
Get ready for extra XP.
remember to talk into that microphone, by the way, Tom.
yeah. I'm doing my best.
It's his first day. Come on.
Yeah. Does this, because one of them mentions that they give you, this one, this green one gives you some shit in the game, it says.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you get
two
2
XP for 15 minutes, but I don't think the other ones say that on them.
You do get
This one
that from
doesn't.
like Doritos and stuff over
Yeah,
here.
okay.
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah,
too. So, we're the cousins of America. Mm-hmm. We are the cousins of America. That song doesn't even sound like that. Who wants to try some Pringles?
Is it Pringle time? Now these are all These are all the same flavor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So just open one.
One for each of
This
us.
one-
No. Just do one.
This one, you can see the dent on the camera there.
Yeah.
I don't think we should open that one.
Now, I don't know about you boys, but personally, I'm excited to pop and then stop immediately.
Yeah.
Now, I've got bad news for you, Tommy.
Here we go.
You know what's good
Now,
about
are these
them?
going to be flat?
We've never had ruffled Pringles in Australia, and these are the old-fashioned big-size Pringle cans too, which I don't mind.
All right, here we go.
Now, you
I'm going
remember
in
how
a
I said
Pringle.
to be in front of the mic? Don't do it when you're chewing. I can't stand that.
I just can't win
it
with you.
kills me. Yeah, I know.
That is not bad.
Still crispy, not stale.
Yeah.
Survived much more successfully than the Game of Fuel.
Yeah, being 4 months out of date,
Yeah.
it tastes like a barbecue-y kind of chip over here, like a Samboy.
Tangy, sort of.
Yeah, kind of like a mix between a light and tangy and maybe a barbecue flavor.
I don't think anyone's ever said this before, but the Americans, they know their snacks.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Man, that best before date, it's a crock of shit. What else are they lying to us about?
Nothing. It's just that weirdly.
God, being on YouTube now is really getting into my head.
Oh no. Those were delicious. Thanks, Warren. Shame about the fizziness of the drinks, but look, I do like a blue cordial. I'm going to drink it.
And look, we also don't know if these are meant to be carbonated from the start. I do think there are more...
It says-
it does say carbonated water in the ingredients.
It does say this is meant to be fizzy.
I don't know why I would have assumed that. Well, but cans sit there for but these have been on planes. These have been in multiple
I guess
houses over here.
Hot
as
and
we've-
cold, yeah.
These snacks have been on an incredible journey.
Yeah.
From the United States of America to Comedy Republic
Yes.
to Ben's hands to
To-
my hands to the floor at the Cooper's Inn
To my
to
hands.
to Adam's house.
To my shoe rack at home because I left them there to try and remember to take them every single
yes.
week.
Yes.
Yep.
But kept forgetting. 'Cause
You
you know what you
slipped-
don't notice? Something on your shoe rack.
Yeah.
Adam's got a shoe rack, everyone.
Yeah.
La-dee-da.
I got 3 pairs of shoes on there and enough room for 50 cans of drink.
Well, thank you, Warren.
Yes.
And we really should get like a PO box or something for if anyone wants to send us stuff like this. We do get requests every now, we'll mention.
We ate that Mario cereal one
That's
time.
true. Yeah, something will come up in the news, like a tie-in or whatever.
Yeah.
and we talk about it in like a funny way, and then someone out there
Well,
will assume that we
talk about it
we
at the
try.
very least. Yeah, we give it a go.
Someone out there will assume that we really, really want this product. And
Right.
be like, boys, I went out and I bought you this Crash Bandicoot bedspread. Where can I mail it to?
Damn, my house directly. Absolutely. You kidding me? This is me going to sleep every night. Wow! I tried to do the crash sound, but he's got a high voice.
Actually, I
Kind
wouldn't.
of closer.
Yeah, now that you're saying it, if that existed, I wouldn't mind getting it for just to have for my spare room at home.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
anytime, the mother-in-law comes to stay, just make up the bed for her.
Or let's be real, anytime you have an argument with your partner.
Yeah.
Or if it is the mother-in-law,
Snuggling
every
up.
morning, mother-in-law getting up and being like, you should leave him. Do you know what I slept in last night?
See? What did I tell you?
I'd have housemates. I would get housemates again, and then
Just for this.
so that every night I'd be like, oh, pretty tired. Might go crash. Do you hear what I said, everyone?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Why'd I say crash? Well, because.
Yeah. Or you're coming in the morning. Oh, yeah, didn't really get much sleep last night, boys. Bit exhausted. And they're like, yeah, you had sex. We get it. And you're like, no, I was just up all night staring at the Crash Bandicoot duty cover that I've got.
My neck really hurts because it means I was looking directly down.
Well,
thanks, Warren.
Thank you,
Thank
Warren.
you. Thanks, Skip, for giving us our first piece of video content in the new studio.
Yeah. Well, speaking of video content, we are 24 hours away from the release of Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, yes.
And Nintendo of Australia, they got granted license
Yep.
to make their own
Oh.
specialized.
It kind of feels like they've gone rogue, to be honest, based on the content of this.
I wonder how high up the flagpole this went. Whether this was run by the big wigs in at Kyoto. It doesn't say. So there's an ad that has just come out yesterday for Tears of the Kingdom. It's made by Nintendo Australia. It's a localized ad.
You can tell, the guy had an Australian accent
Yeah.
too.
He,
and
he played Harry in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child in the Australian production.
I've seen him before then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's a full-on actor.
Of 2 things he's been in.
Love your work, mate. Love your oeuvre.
Incredible follow-up role because someone else who was in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child left the cast and just won Most Outstanding Show at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. So
Yeah.
all the alumni of that show just kicking goals at the moment.
in our industries.
in our industries. The ad is basically depressed man on the bus, very somber tone to the ad.
Yeah.
And he's not massively depressed.
No, he's like successful businessman, nice outfit, nice clothes.
Yeah.
He's on the way to work. He's getting the bus for some reason.
Well, I mean, I say depressed. He's living a life that like 90% of the population lead.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's just got...
he looks like he has a house.
He's in a vague rut. He's just
Yeah.
sort of doing the same thing every day, and he loves his family.
But the ad
I
is
think.
very like grey tones,
Yeah.
kind of somber piano music in the background. He gets home, he's in the kitchen. His wife comes home from work and then seemingly goes straight to bed. He's now by
She's
himself
tired.
on the
She's
couch.
probably working too. She's on a different bus every day.
True. Maybe
Yep.
she's a bus driver.
She's playing 3DS
yeah,
on that bus
yeah.
from an older ad.
Yeah, but she's tired. She's gone to bed. And then it's a tale as old as time. He's hitting the console.
Well, he's got a new physical copy of Tears of the Kingdom sitting on the coffee table.
Right.
That to me, I took it as his what? Because he's like seems confused and surprised that it's there.
Oh, right, okay.
He's like, all right. Like,
I didn't get that. I thought that he had bought it and was like, oh, finally I get to unwind.
as
Like,
soon
I
as
guess,
the misso goes to bed.
I guess
I
now
thought it
I'm
was
allowed to play my video games.
I took it to be a present from her because he looked at it and he was like, I guess I'll give it a try. Because then
Okay.
over the rest of the ad, he's like getting more and more sucked into.
Well, I took it to be he was
Tears of
going
the
to
Kingdom
go
world.
straight to the desktop and chuck the ROM up on Reddit because he's gotten the game early.
Yeah,
let's
true.
be real. That's the thing that's not really.
Yeah.
he's not like sitting there being like, "How the hell did you get this?"
Maybe
Yeah.
he's a reviewer for IGN. Maybe this is the lifestyle we're seeing.
At the end, there's the sirens start chasing the bus, and he's getting the Nintendo
The
police on
Nintendo
him.
cops, yeah.
So he's playing the game, and it's kind of showing off a little bit of like, this is an ad that's meant to be kind of catching in people that aren't haven't kept up with the cycle of this game. So it's
With the chips in the middle of the table too, being fresh on doing the video versions, you might get some hands reaching across some talking faces from
People
time
will
to time.
like that.
he's mucking around with the game.
Yeah.
He's and it's meant to sort of show the people who are perhaps kind of new to the fact that this is coming out. Hey, this is what you're doing in this new Zelda. You're building stuff, and he's got a very Mr. Bean approach where he's like got one log and a little sail.
Oh, yeah,
The
he's
boat,
real
like,
bad at it.
falls over, and he's not really talking. He's just like, oh, like he's just kind of making little kind of like mutters and.
They would have had to
you know.
pay him a fortune if he'd spoken in the ad, though.
Well, he's doing a lot of that very video game in film thing where he's like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, great. Yes.
He's getting on the log and he's yelling Expelliarmus. It's not working.
Yeah.
And so then it's him. The next day he's on the bus and he's got Zelda with him now.
on his portable Switch.
The bus ain't so bad. And it is funny 6 years into this console, a big focus of the ad still being, you can, just in case you didn't know, you can take this little guy anywhere.
It's funny the difference in tone between like life in 2017
Right.
when it came out versus now, where at the start it was like rooftop parties, motherfucker,
Basketball, quarter time, and your pickup game.
take the Switch anywhere, and now it's like, yeah, maybe on the bus.
Yeah, I'm getting tear gassed in the street at a protest, and I'm playing Pikmin. So he's on the bus, he's playing the game, and then he's looking out the window and he's looking at the clouds, and he's thinking, maybe life ain't so bad after all.
It's so
Switch, play anywhere.
This is the dumbest thing about the ad is that it's implying that he's realized like, oh, I could go on an adventure like Link does. It's like, dude, you're like 40 years old. You know you can go to the fucking national park and have a hike. Like,
I just took him to be like, oh, I feel a little bit better about my commute now. I didn't read the whole in a monologue of him being like, maybe I could go to a real Hyrule.
that's what I think. I've seen other people like interpret it that way.
Yeah,
so I was
right.
like, oh yeah. I guess it's reminding him of how real life can be quite beautiful as well.
I'm sure I took it the way that I would take it in real life, where I'm like, yeah, there's nothing but video games.
right.
Hey, like all great art, it's open to interpretation.
That's
so this
true.
ad, it goes live. Immediately people get obsessed with it. There was a lot of memes of like taking the shot where you see his hands holding the Switch, and it's Children of Men.
Yes.
On
Clive
sitting
Owen on the bus.
Clive Owen
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
bus.
It does have that sort of
It's that sort of tone to it. People are really fixated on it. It's like this is this is a company that's known for fun. It's a
Right.
This game coming out is a big joyous event. Why have they made the most somber, depressing ad of all time? And then through a little bit of digging, through friend of the show Ruby Innes, she was posting about it, and someone who worked on the ad contacted her, and it turns out that this ad is like basically an adaptation of an Amazon Japan review of Breath of the Wild from 5 years ago, where it's like a guy being like
A salary man being like,
So this was across their desk, and they thought, let's turn this into an ad.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wonderful stuff. And we know that Nintendo of Australia listen to this podcast. So if you want to give us more context even, or want our input on an ad.
Yeah, adapt
Yeah.
something that we've said about your
So,
company into the next ad campaign.
Oh,
Here
yes.
it is. So you're going to need to be advertising Pikmin soon, right?
Yeah.
It's a guy, he's just come out of prison and the world's changed since he was in there. He's been institutionalized,
Right.
is the thing.
What's the guy from Shawshank?
Don't worry about it yet. And so he's up on a chair. He can't handle it anymore. His job packing bags at the grocery store isn't working.
Right. Yeah.
What's the guy from Shawshank?
I don't know. What
It's
is
Brooks.
name?
He's Brooks.
Okay, Brooks.
Because he gets on this chair and he's got a noose around his neck. But then as he's scraping into the wood above him, into the rafter, he's scraping Brooks was herein, and some fun little guys, little blue and green and red little guys come in, take that knife off of him. They unwrap the noose. They sit him down, put a switch in his hand. They're lifting it all up as a group.
You need the winged Pikmin to kind of pull him out.
But he's been away for so long, he doesn't know how to play the switch, and he still kills himself at the end of the act. What about that?
Okay, that's good.
Maybe he sees how bad the resolution is and kills himself.
What I like about this is now I want to know, is there a way that person, because this is, if you're a journalist, right? Ruby, if you're listening, this is the next big scoop for you, right? That guy that wrote that ad for Amazon Japan,
Yeah.
does he have any idea that his review has been adapted? Like, imagine that.
damn.
You're just sitting around, you wrote this thing like 6 years ago, you know, you haven't given it another thought. You've
read
been busy
his-
playing heaps of other things, and then someone just sends you a link. It's like, a link. Hey, look,
What?
this is someone
Is
in
that the guy from
Australia
Shawshank?
pretending to be you. And not only that, he's Harry Potter.
Yeah. And not only that, but people are doing weird posts and videos about how this ad is offensive. I saw that sort of talk about it too,
Right.
where they're like, it's making fun of it, saying we're all depressed. When I
What a
went to look for the ad.
Oh
and
my
We are.
God! What a exactly
Well, here's a little project that we could have for the podcast. Maybe this could be like a stretch goal thing on Patreon or something.
Okay.
As mentioned, you know, I know someone who was in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Yes.
We could get in touch with this guy. And
Oh.
we do prequel to the ad. We expand the universe of this Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo advertisement.
Yeah.
You know, we do our whole we script this guy's whole backstory.
So, like, has it happened to him before where, like, he's a kid and his parents are fighting and yelling in the other room, but then he's got a little Nintendo 64 sitting in his room?
Absolutely. Yeah, hey, you like the show Ted Lasso.
Sure.
That was a character in an ad.
Oh,
And
you
then they
like
made-
Game of Fuel and Ted Lasso, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, you're a loser.
That was a show that spun off from an ad.
Yeah.
So
But
it's happened before. There's a precedent, and that was really
That's
successful.
true. He
But
just
this-
keeps getting into different scrapes every week, but then a different console makes him feel better.
Yeah,
I
he
guess
moves
it's
to-
gonna be. It's
Yeah.
gonna be.
He moves to England.
It consoles him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
give me that writing. money.
Consoles. That's the series title. It has to be. It has to be sequels, right? Because this ad that has been made sort of presupposes that he doesn't know about video games a bit.
A little.
little.
I'm imagining it just keeps happening to him again and again, and every
Yeah.
time he's like, "What? Vita? Okay."
Well, I think it
Okay.
has to be Ted Lasso style, where he moves to the UK, and it's like, boy, you thought that commute was dreary back in Australia. It's getting dark at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
here, pal.
all
He
right.
has to
How
adjust,
do you like that?
He has to adjust to PAL from NTSC. Oh, but he's Australian.
He's
already
Aussie.
bad.
Yeah. I like this, and maybe he keeps getting hit over the back of the head and loses his memory of how video games can be so transformative.
Maybe.
And then he'll come across like a Sega Saturn and be like, "Oh, Virtua
This is,
Fighter."
this is a great interview for the pod. We got to try and get this guy in.
Yeah,
here.
let's do it.
Yeah, they kept telling me to look happy every shot, but I couldn't. Oh no.
I was excited because I was in an ad for Zelda, and they were like, "Tone it down.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
isn't what Switch Fan 87 was talking about back on Amazon.co.jp.
I read that
ago.
guy's like original review, and it is like that. He was like, oh, I was just feeling down. My life was the same thing every day, but then I got this, and it was a bit of joy during my day. And thanks very much, Nintendo.
3 stars.
But he was also
I miss the old dungeons.
yeah. There's a bit in his review where it's like he was looking at mountains he didn't know the name of but hated outside of the window. Like he's really poetic about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is through a translation thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, weird ad.
Hey, a great little something to pass the time during the week.
Yeah.
Until Friday, the 12th of May.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm going.
I was thinking because a few people have
I'm
said
going to
they've
play Zelda. Everyone.
Yeah, me
What?
too. I'm brave enough to say it.
Yeah.
So a few people have said that they've gone back and listened to us talk about Breath of the Wild when that first came out.
Yes.
And you, Adam, talk about, I can't remember in what context, but you talk about wanting to go into some kind of like coma or
like
medically cryogenic
induced-
Austin powers to speed up. And I've been thinking that this week, like just running out the clock, just being like, I just want it to be Friday.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this game. And it is funny to think about yourself as an old man on your deathbed and like, boy, it all went by so fast. And then a lot of that was you just going, God damn, I want this week to be over. I want it to be Friday already.
I know. I reckon it'll be the people who've gone back and listened to the Breath of the Wild talk. It was funny seeing them say what we were saying back then.
Yeah.
I reckon it's going to be a lot of repeat where it was like, yeah, Adam and Ben are arguing about whether it's like a great world-changing game or not. Ben doesn't like it that much. Adam da.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Yep.
Because I'm excited.
I'm going in at midnight, baby. I'm
Zelda's
doing it.
been one of those things, like, not to get too Amazon Japan review here, but every like different era of my life has sort of switched around the same time that a Zelda game has come out. They come out so infrequently that out of everything, it's probably the one series that's the most sort of like sentimentally important to me.
Yeah.
Because of that. So
that's
wonder
a
what's
good-
about
yeah.
to change now.
I've also been thinking about it just in terms of it. I mean, there is some other stuff to come out and we don't know what they're doing longer term in terms of a new console.
Yeah.
But this does feel like it's, these two Zelda games kind of book it ending the Switch.
Right.
Is kind of cool. And when we first started this podcast, we were like speculating for ages about what the new console was going to be. So just this sort of tying a little, I know there's still stuff coming out, but sort of tying a little bit of a bow on this console is kind of like, yeah, this I've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours on this damn thing, and it's wrapping up.
We got Pikmin is like the one big one that's sort of remaining, but then there's the rumors I'm seeing in the mill.
I saw some of these rumors too, yeah.
I keep climbing into this mill and hiding up in the rafters, and it says Brooks was here scratched in there, but then some little guys have helped out. Is that Nintendo will not be doing one of their big directs in June, July, like they normally do, which suggests to me, because all the other things are still doing their like replacement, or at least Microsoft definitely is, and I think Sony probably will.
Yeah, I think so.
There's other things going on in that sort of E3 window, a bunch of which, if they're at good Australian times, we'll probably watch on Twitch
Absolutely.
together.
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying that if any of all the years, this might be the one where there are the fewest of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So anyway, there might not be a Nintendo one, which to me would suggest that means they're saving up. There's nothing else Switch, like you're saying.
Because if they're not ready to say what the new console and everything is, like, what do they have to show at it? Pikmin might be out by then, or just come
it's
out.
soon. They might do a 10-minute. Here's a Pikmin direct or whatever, one of those type of things.
I mean, have they haven't dated Metroid at any point, have they? They still haven't.
They were friends, but fucking for a little while, but they were never.
Right.
It feels like they've drifted a little bit, honestly.
Yeah. No, they haven't said much beyond like, oh, it's back in redevelop.
I feel like that's
right. Yeah,
a huge chance of being shuffled onto the next thing. They did have their like investor thing,
which is so crazy because that was one of the very first.
Yeah.
Just a logo, but like right at the beginning of the Switch, they were like Metroid Prime 4.
Well, I think they're realizing that they don't have the benefit of a library of games from a console that no one had in the Wii U that they can port over. They're wanting to get everyone over across, so they got to hold on to some heavy hitters to launch this thing within the first year, right?
I would guess like October-ish or whatever it was for the Switch, they do a sort of here's what we're doing next. It comes out in maybe March, similar to the Switch, and then that shows up next year. But then I'll be real interested to see when that does come out, because obviously there'll be something, a Switch 2 type of thing. how they deal with this backlog of Switch games as Nintendo, because like the rest of everyone has gone very heavily into your library stays with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both as a way, and we'll talk about it more with what's his name, Phil Spencer, in a minute. He was talking about this sort of stuff on that.
And
interview.
they've got so
he
many...
raised it as an excuse.
Yeah.
I believe.
Kind of, yeah. And so like so many people have gone, your library stays with you and it keeps you in our ecosystem or whatever.
They've
Nintendo
got so
haven't-
many new people in the ecosystem with this console, and probably a lot of people that have been checked out on them for a decade plus.
Yeah.
So yeah, the smart thing they could do would be to keep everyone in, which almost
they were
certainly
doing
means
it.
that they won't do it.
Back in the day, like
Yeah.
you could play GameCube games on the Wii, and then you could play Wii games on the Wii U.
Yep,
So
yep.
they
Right.
have done it.
They've
There
yeah.
was a little GBA slot in the bottom of the DS.
True. Yep.
So,
yep.
but the way that they've taken all these Wii U games, re-released them with a Funky Kong in them, charged full price for them again, and how well that's worked for them, it's probably a one-time deal because the Wii U did how it did. But if they try to
Yeah.
do that, like if in a year there is a Tears of the Kingdom Ultimate for Switch 2 that costs the same again,
Yeah.
that would be pretty fucking weird.
That would be well, especially if it's a console that can play all that stuff.
You'd want to have all your Switch digital games backwards on whatever's next.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like they have improved the online service, like the subscription thing.
Yeah.
You know, you stay subscribed to Nintendo Online, you get all of this like retro games and stuff.
And they can still double dip if it's like you boot up your new, whatever the new thing is, you
Switch
copy
2.
your account across, all your stuff is there for you to download, and then they do hey, here's the next gen patch for Tears of the Kingdom that makes it run at 60 frames per second, and it's $10.
That was
as
what
an
they did on
update or
PS5
upgrade
often.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
'cause
what I would...
That's not really what Nintendo have been doing lately, though, right?
No.
It's
No.
more like, no, you just buy it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you know, famously all of their stuff on the eShop, like the first party stuff never gets a discount, like
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
that stuff.
Well,
is,
and on the Wii and the Wii U, those virtual console games didn't translate over between
That's true.
consoles.
That's true.
yes.
So they've done every fucking which way.
In any case, they did have, I believe it was their investors meeting thing like the other day where they just kind of basically, it's all very dry. It's just basically, here's what everything's sold. And they did mention that they are not, because is it their financial, it's like it ends in March or something.
In America.
Yeah, or they basically were saying they're not going to be looking at a Switch successor in this financial year, which the
Right.
thing I read was like that's up in March 2024.
Right.
So it's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
which would suggest to me October they do the announce, it's coming out April.
Maybe. And I like, if there's nothing else coming out for the Switch this year, which if they don't do a thing soon, there won't be.
Yeah.
Then they have to do it soon, right?
Well,
I
but then they would be thinking, well, we don't want to announce the next thing because we want to maximize all the sales of the Switch and all sales
Yeah.
on the Switch
Potentially,
that we can get
They
out of
did
it.
do it with the Switch though, while the Wii U was still around.
But that's because the Wii U was failing, though, right?
Partly,
like
but-
Yeah,
the
they
Switch
needed
is
to
like
show that they had
they've sold
yeah.
50 million copies of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or something.
Yeah.
Like they,
And I can
If
also
they-
understand not having said anything yet because they want to get Tears of the Kingdom out there. They don't
Yeah.
want it to feel like this is now coming out on, even though it is like outdated. You know, if they were already talking about the next thing,
Right.
it would make it's like, oh well, Tears of the Kingdom's coming out on the old. You know what I mean? Like
Or-
it would
or-
feel a bit like.
or people would be like, well, it'll definitely come out again on the new one, so I
right.
won't buy it now, which
Right.
again will impact, you know, their earnings for that
I think that they
quarter
want
and
to
all
give this
that.
a bit of breathing space.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
saying to people clearly, like anything on the Switch, you'll be able to upgrade or whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who
We're
knows?
fucking obviously
Hey,
speculating here.
I'm sure they do. Sure, there's a few fellas in Kyoto that know what's coming
I
next.
don't know,
That's the
point,
thing.
honestly.
Those guys don't communicate what they're doing super openly, unlike Phil Spencer of Microsoft and Xbox, who, you know, as much as it's maybe a salesman thing and a
I think it's
marketing
100%
thing,
a salesman thing.
I do think he seems to be telling the truth about stuff a lot of the time.
I think he has cultivated a very manipulative image. I really think that he's a nice guy, but he's also using it to be like, hey, keep giving us money.
I mean, he works
Yeah.
for a company, so obviously he's not going to be like, yeah, Xbox sucks this time. But he gets close to saying that realistically as someone who's a CEO of a thing can, because like he was on
Phil Spencer went on a YouTube
podcast,
show,
yeah.
podcast, and
vodcast.
gave this very open interview about the failure of Redfall and its critical reception, and is just very, and yeah, I agree.
and
it's
also the inability of Xbox to really have as many games as others come out recently, and like them being in third place as a console, and how like realistically we're not competing in that market very well. So here's where we want it. Like pretty open stuff that is obviously always going to be spin and whatever, but like is as compared to something like Nintendo, who's tight lips and never anything, or Sony, who I don't say much either, but seem more spinny to me.
I agree with you, Ben, that it's like, you're the head of a company, so it's like you're not going into something like this going, oh, whoops-a-daisy, I really poured my heart out there by accident. Like, you are doing it as a deliberate thing. But that being said, I do still think that transparency is cool. Like, I think he still is ultimately being honest about, like, look, we fucked it and we can do better and we've just got to learn, which is all true. Like,
he's not saying like, Redfall's actually good and you've all got it wrong. He's like, we fucked it with Redfall. We didn't manage to do what we wanted to do. It sucks. We thought it would do better and people don't like it, so we'll wear that. Like,
it's
but
also
what else can he say? Like, we know it's bad, so I think it's like a kind of false transparency, because it's like, exactly. What is he going to say? No, it's good. You guys are all wrong. It's
or
like,
just nothing as well, which is what most of them do.
It is also
that's
rare
why
that
I
you
kind of
see-
think it is. It's like, well, you would just say nothing. You'd move on to the next thing. But I feel like getting on the front foot and being like, you guys who love Xbox, interview me. I'll pretend. Well, not I'll pretend. I'll be open. I'll be, pro gamer. Like, that's the thing that he's always got, is like gamers think that Xbox is like for them. They're pro consumer. Which,
well, also he knows that
they
this is going to
money.
make headlines. So it's like, if Xbox is struggling in a lot of ways, it's like this at the very least bumps them up to the top of the headlines on the gaming sites for at least a day. So it's like,
well, and a lot of
just reminds people that they're out there. I do still think it's cool to have done this. It's an interesting move to do this in like the week of, because usually the way when these kinds of guys talk about this kind of stuff, it's like a year on. It's like, they're looking back well in the past, like, well, that didn't do well for us, so what we then decided to do, and they,
to pump up the next thing.
Yeah, they're tying it to then a victory. It's like that inspired us to.
Which,
just him being straight in there and just being like, tough week. We flubbed it. But
it's
it didn't feel great.
I don't feel sorry for you, because I think the alternate.
I don't think he's trying to get people to feel sorry.
I think that's
because he's saying the whole time, he's like, no one should feel sorry for us. Like, it's our fault. Like,
he's buying goodwill, but I think because the other,
he's also got a switch in the background of his shot. The fucking turncoat.
You
son of a bitch.
He does.
Yeah, right.
The other thing you do is you what are the examples? Not Cyberpunk. Maybe a No Man's Sky. There are other examples where people are just like, will get to fixing it right away.
Yeah.
And that has tended to work as well. Like,
you're right. Hearing from the team directly
Yeah.
about how they're feeling about it, because at the end of the day, it's their art that's gone out and had the negative response that would feel really bad to be the creative person that worked on it, as opposed to like the top brass being like, there's a little bit less money in my account. It's like, it's the guy overseeing it. It's like, and man, I mean, you maybe made a bad call, but like, it's not people saying like, hey, that character that you created sucks.
As a point of difference from the last Xbox guy too, whose name is escaping me right now, but the
Bill
guy,
Gates?
no, Matt something,
Master Chief,
the guy who he looks like
The Pringle Man?
like that guy there. This guy, does anyone recognize him?
I didn't even notice that the Pringle guy had the gaming headset on.
Yeah, he
on the
does.
back.
Oh,
That's
God.
a nice touch.
Whatever that guy's name
terrifying.
was, how he was like, the Xbox One is always online. If you want a console that's not, it's called the Xbox 360. Like, and I found in that interview interesting the thing he was like, we lost the generation that was probably the most important one to lose, because that's when everyone built, which is now the PS4 library. Like, that's when everyone gathered their digital games and got kind of locked into this. So he feels like a guy who understands what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. That's yes. But I think it's because of it's this game, right? Like, this game it looks to have been so cynically put together from the start. Like, there's not a lot of care, it seems.
So you played a little bit of
Yes,
Redfall?
yes.
Yeah, I never got it. What's it like?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
it really feels like it should be like a free-to-play, like fucking in the 90s it would have been free on the back of a cereal box.
Right.
Right.
But it also feels worse than like a Warframe or something like that because empty world, texture glitches, pop in, like
Yeah.
AI fuck-ups.
Especially when they've just been acquiring companies left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, what is this building to? Where's the big, this
And-
has got to pay off at some point.
In this specific case as well, Arcane makes really good games.
So yeah, I think we've met that. This is
There's
the
two
Arcane who made
Arcanes.
Prey, not
Yes.
the Arcane who made Dishonored.
Which
and
Prey was
Deathloop.
like a very curated, cultivated game. It was like a lot of passion went into it.
It was a good game and did have some of the sort of jankiness that is cranked
Right.
up to 11 in this.
But I think take away the technical glitches of Redfall, it's just like an empty,
Right.
soulless, cash grab feeling game.
And does this speak to you're Arcane, you get acquired by Microsoft, and so you just don't have as much. You kind of end up with less freedom because they're the ones going like, this has to come out now. You can't delay it.
That was something that they touched on in this thing as well, that this was already in production. There was a PS5 version that was
Right.
like at the point when they
that's right.
acquired them. And that he was like, we should have offered them more support with this. This is the game that was like the one that was in the wrong time that we've learned from. And
Right.
Right.
So
there was also a quote in there of like, he was like, some games, it doesn't matter how long you delay for, how much money you throw at them, they'll never match up to what the creative ambition was,
Right.
which I cannot believe. Like, you're Microsoft. You could have
That's-
delayed, if you
'cause-
delay this
yeah.
a year like you did with Halo, this is a better game. There's no way that you don't at least iron out the bugs,
Yeah.
fill out the like the
technical
towns are
stuff
just
you'd
empty.
imagine.
like,
yeah, but I've never developed a
But
game.
you also
But
hear-
I can imagine from creative stuff that I've done that is of a smaller scale than a game. Sometimes there are just those things where you're like, fuck, this isn't panning out.
But you also do
it's
hear
not the whole game though. Like, there's like the trailers. It's like, okay, vampires, semi-open world, first-person shooter. Great. There's enough there for it to be a good idea. I don't know how you fuck up just like, texture mapping.
Yeah.
like you're
But you also
Especially
do
'cause
hear a lot of
biggest
things
company.
too of like someone has like not even the technical stuff, just the design and the creative part of it, where they do just get a certain way down the line and they're like, this just isn't working. This sucks, but we have to scrap all of this. Maybe take the location or this character and fold it into a different idea. Like you do hear every now and then people getting like very far down the line and just having to completely
And those
rethink
movies
the
like
design.
Don Quixote and
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Where like,
but a
But
lot
then
of this
don't-
that he's saying is like, this is weird stuff to have to learn. It's like,
Right.
we've learned a lesson. You push this out the door too early and it wasn't ready and people don't like it. It's like, I'm sorry, Microsoft shouldn't need to be learning that lesson.
I think
that's
this is-
insane.
Yeah.
Right.
Yet
That's why
another-
I feel like he's saying the right things, but he cannot mean them. Like, that's factually not true.
I
Yeah.
You know?
feel like this is another one of those games where people tried to make their own version of Destiny or whatever. And it turns out that that's just a bad game. And so
Yeah,
every
yeah.
one of the ones that have tried to do some version of that have been disappointing seemingly to people, other than the technical stuff in Redfall's case, in similar ways. Where
Right.
like, this feels empty, this feels soulless, this feels nothing. Like,
And then they've and I guess they've also tried to make it Far Cry, which it's like, there's a template there. You could have followed that template,
Yeah.
and made the co-op attack on sort of thing like it is in Far Cry.
And
Focus on
maybe-
the single player, but
maybe the top is just like it's okay, like a 7 game for this type of thing.
Imagine being the director of this game. You're watching this interview and it's like the head of the company having to answer for essentially your crimes. And it's
Well,
just
right.
like for an hour and you're just being like, ooh.
It is true that people who make games know if they're good or not before they come out.
well, here you go.
So
Quote from Phil: "We do mock reviews for every game that we launch."
I was going to talk about this
And,
bit, yeah.
and this is double digits lower than we thought we would be with this game. That's one of the disappointing things. We would never strive to launch a game that we thought was going to review in the low 60s. It's not part of our goals. That's good to know.
They need to get rid of the people who told them that it was going to be in the 70s because
Yeah.
I have through some grapevines that I harvest
Okay.
at my winery.
At the Bottle-O.
Which is where
Yeah.
I hear all my rumors. They knew about this.
Yeah,
for,
right.
that it sucked.
Yeah.
For at least the last few months or
Right.
whatever. So
I wonder if maybe part of their thinking is like, we've delayed Halo, we've now delayed Starfield, like...
and
But
you just
Halo-
cut your
them-
losses with them sometimes, and I mean that shouldn't
yeah.
be putting out a bad product.
But everything- Everything's delayed
they've-
now, like-
they have done that. Like they cancelled Scalebound, right?
Yeah, yep.
I like Arcane. What was it? It's like a sub Arcane, right? It's like
It's-
Arcane
they've got
San Andreas or something.
Different city names, yeah, I forget which is which.
Like
Sorry.
they are now owned by Bethesda and Microsoft. If you cancel Redfall, they'll live on. They'll make
Yeah.
another game.
That's a good
you
point.
could have just pulled the plug and just gone. It's despite years of working on this title.
It's
it
not an
doesn't
indie
measure
studio
up.
of like two guys who've invested
Yes.
their life savings into this and had family help them and like,
Yeah.
no, it takes as long as it takes. We know we've got a great game in us. But we can't if we put this out and if we cancel this, then our lives are over. Yeah, you're right. Like,
Yeah.
fold the ideas into something. You hear you hear about that sort of stuff all the time. Like, scrap it for.
They did it with the
Scrap
Final
it for
Fantasy
parts.
VII remake. They're doing it with Metroid Prime 4. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say they did it with Halo, and it worked to an extent. Like
People went back on Halo in a big way after a bit when like the longer term stuff turned out to like they fixed that single player thing enough for it to be like okay,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. But yeah, it felt like him and his PR team had very carefully gone, all right, how do we just sort of smooth it over in a way that makes it seem like we didn't know that we were shoveling out a shitty game
Yeah.
and hopefully win some fans back.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think you probably cut your losses and cancel this game, I reckon. But
Yeah.
No, we've never run a
Or just
multi-million-dollar studio.
Well, I've played a lot
so-
of games though, and this was a terrible game.
Or just, I mean, as much as I appreciate the transparency, and again, coming from a place of like, Nintendo's my favorite company, and they would just never, you would never get, if Metroid Prime had have come out when it was meant to, Metroid Prime 4 had have come out early in the Switch life cycle and sucked, and, you wouldn't see Miyamoto on like a Japanese YouTube channel just committing seppuku on camera because he's brought great dishonor upon the company.
Which I
but
kind
there's
of-
like,
which he's no longer the president of too. So they'd be like, you probably shouldn't have even
I
done
just feel
this.
really bad.
buck has to stop somewhere, Shiggy.
But I feel like that's like more, I don't know, professional. It's like, don't try and spin this into like being goodwill or something. Just like be like, sorry, it's a bad game. We'll make a better game next time.
Bad games come out all the time. At the end of the day, it's like,
I took that more as what he was saying though, of like, whoops, we will do better next time.
But as in don't say it, just do it.
Sure. Well,
like-
Ben hates Phil Spencer.
But also, I mean, it's sitting on like 60 something on Metacritic.
Yeah,
so there
yeah.
are some people out there that are liking it. Just imagine being someone that's loving this game.
It doesn't
And
seem
just
like they're
this
out there.
Big apologetic interview. It's like, I don't know, man. I'm drinking my Game of Fuel. I'm eating
Yeah.
my Pringles. I'm loving Redfall.
Maybe
dude.
some people are, but it's one of the most negative, widely across the board negative receptions I've seen something have, to the point where
Especially like streamers and you like non like
Those people
IGN.
aren't touching it. Yeah.
I saw a thing that it had fewer concurrent players than Borderlands 2
Yeah.
on Steam.
Yeah.
Wow,
So,
okay. Yeah.
Big flop.
People just aren't touching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Speaking of big flops,
I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
could speak of big flops and put that here. That
Yep.
if you've got something big or small to flop around,
Yeah.
tell you
Or-
how to make something that seems like a small flop look bigger.
Okay.
Trim your pubic hair back
yeah.
using the products from Manscaped.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. Unlike Pringles and Mountain Dew, Manscaped pay us to do ads.
Yeah, true. This wasn't an ad, actually. Yeah, we should have hit up Mr. Dew for
Yeah.
a little bit of cash. Mr.
Well-
Mountain D Dew.
You
the
know
D
what
is
I've
also
only
for Dew.
I've only just noticed they've now made the Pringles guy bald. He used to have a beautiful head of hair.
Don't
Or
think so.
Maybe he started to notice himself thinning, and he hit up the people at Manscaped, and he brought a professional grooming product because you can use
Maybe
them
he
on any
did.
part of the body.
I thought
right.
the Pringles guy was always bald, so we might be having a Berenstein Bears thing here. Because anyway, whatever. This
Whatever.
is for Manscaped.
Yeah, we can do this on the bonus.
Manscaped, they make great stuff. It's personal grooming products.
That's
we
right.
all use them and genuinely endorse them.
Yeah.
I used my Weed Whacker 2.0 this very morning.
God damn, someone knew was about to be on camera.
That's right.
They're good stuff. You can. They sell a bunch of different things, but I
They do.
like the Lawnmower 4.0. I use it for general trimming. Haven't used it recently. You probably fucking tell. I'll give you a comparison next week. But
The performance package, I believe, contains the lawnmower and several other things.
yeah, how they fit a lawnmower in a box and ship it to you for free if you use the code FILTHY.
Oh, yeah.
with 20% off of the price too. I'll never understand.
I think it's actually a small handheld electric razor.
Well, then my lawn is going to take forever to do.
Oh,
20% off and free shipping if you use the code FILTHY. Pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they sell a lot of great stuff over there. So go have a little look at them.
long-time supporters of this podcast.
Yeah.
So kept our rent being paid.
They ain't
quite
trimming them
frankly.
down.
Yeah.
They paid for these smaller than will eventually be here amounts of baffling in the back.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true.
I got that baffle fever now.
Oh.
So a way I could order more baffling is on the internet. And if I'm on the internet, the way that I want to do that is by using NordVPN whilst being on the internet. To
Yes.
travel the globe and buy different types of game fuel from different countries
You could-
by acting like I live there.
You could go to Amazon Japan and leave a review of Breath of the Wild, for example.
I really could.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Hey.
did 6 years ago.
Maybe it was the
Whoa.
Harry Potter guy 6 years ago.
Fuck.
Before he got the big gig, he was
Yeah.
getting the bus to the shit gig every day.
He was planting in their minds, I know I'm going to be in an ad of this someday.
You can go look at the ad for yourself if you get NordVPN. And again, if you go to nordvpn.com/filthy, get a big discount that will make you smile on any bus.
Yes.
So head over there as well. nordvpn.com/filthy.
Go over there. Support the companies that support us if you
Yes.
haven't previously.
Yeah.
Or even if you have. Double dip.
Yeah.
Or again.
They make good products.
Yeah.
Both of these things that we're endorsing today. I also endorse the case of the Golden Idol.
Yes.
It remains a good game, and they put. Yeah. the DLC just came out for it. The first of seemingly many from the way they're acting about it.
Oh, really?
They've branded it like Golden Idol Mysteries, I think it's called.
Yes.
The
Right.
Spider of Lanka.
Yep, that's it.
It's such an easy one to just shuffle new stuff into.
Yeah.
They never need to do a Golden Idol 2. It's like, yeah, all this stuff just running in this little engine.
Right,
works
right.
fine. There's no part of it.
They've even upgraded it a little bit. It's not, I mean, it is in the same engine, but it's also like they've added some 3D-esque animation.
Bit more flourish to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all raved about the game when it came out. We talked about it in our end of year episode.
It was one of my top 5 games of the year for sure. I don't remember where it was, but I loved it.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's no part of it that's like, oh, next time around, it'd be great if they added this in. What if there were some cases up in the sky and you could build your own detective car out of logs and rockets? No, it's all there. So they could really easily just keep adding. Yeah, add 3 little new cases at a time.
I
for
hope they do.
$8.
Yes.
If this happened every 6 months, and you're right, it's like $8.
Yeah.
We've played through 2 of them on our YouTube channel, which you may be on right now. The second one was definitely intricate after it, and when I was like uploading, I was like, oh, that's what that clue meant.
Oh, no.
Throw it in the eye. I get it now.
Right.
We haven't done the third yet. We'll probably do that on video, or maybe just do it separate. I don't know. But it's the same shit, which is great.
Yeah.
Having new puzzles in there, if you've not played Golden Idol still, you can watch us play through it if you like, if you're not into puzzle games, or I massively recommend it still.
And each case has like 1 or 2, like it kind of guides you through all the clues. It puts them on a little page for you. And so you're piecing them together. They all make complete sense. They're all very logical. But then there will be maybe like 1 or 2 things in there per case where it's like, yeah, you're looking at a guy and you're like, oh, hang on. He's got that thing on the side of his head. And, there are like the odd little thing that's not spelled out. It's not in a note.
Yes.
It's not like written down for you in a clue
Yeah.
that you genuinely have to have like noticed and intuited, and not in a way where it's like, oh well, that's bullshit. It never told me that. It did tell you, but then you had to like follow up and like take a visual clue.
Yes.
And it's so satisfying.
It feels so natural, and it feels so actually detecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it really feels like you are piecing this together in a way that I haven't seen another game that's doing these sorts of puzzles do quite as well as this.
Well, I think we mentioned when we were doing the first batch of them, we were simultaneously playing L.A. Noire.
Oh, yes.
And
the fucking whiplash that you get switching between those two.
Which made the quality of this stick out even more. It's like, this is actually you solve a case. Like you really do put this together as opposed to just getting lucky by selecting the right thing.
I think the facial animations were easier to read in Golden Idol than LA Noire as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, and like walking around looking for little stupid musical stings so you know which dumb things to pick up.
Yeah.
This doesn't do any of that kind of pixel hunty stuff of like escape room type of games.
Yeah.
They've got a little glowing thing. You know where everything is. It wants you to find all of the information you need, but then also has that second layer that it uses differently and creatively from mission to mission of you needing to have observational skills at the same time.
Yeah, if you don't remember...
Not just fucking... like Where's Wally style, look for the hidden little bastard.
Yeah.
Observational skills, but contextual, use your logic to figure out what's happened in this scene type of skills, which
if you didn't hear us talk about it at the time, or you just don't remember, each little scene each case is like a tableau or a series of different tableaus. You're looking for like clue words, and it'll tell you you've got 40 of these to find. So you're going around, you're clicking on people, and it'll put their name, it'll put like knife, all these different things.
And you get them so easily. It's
You
not
just-
like a challenge.
Yeah,
to
you
find
go
those.
around, you read all that, you fill all that in, and then it'll tell you you've got all of them, and then you've got a page where it's basically Mad Libs. It's like someone did something to someone in the something, and and then you're going back through and looking with a bit more of a keener eye. So,
but very different versions of those two, where it finds creative ways of going, well, now you have to find the sequence of events here, or now you have to find which of these masks represents which type of person.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
It'll give you different...
Which it does build up. It starts with just like, who are these people's names? And as the cases progress.
The first one that's like basically a tutorial is so easy. It's like a guy getting stabbed, and it's like, killed with a
but the way that it upgrades to figure out which cardinal direction you're facing, and or like decode this language, like heaps of stuff that just continues to be surprising and creative. And if they're able to keep up the pace of, I think we're roughly 6, maybe 8 months away from the initial release of the game, something like that.
Yeah.
If they keep up like a twice yearly sort of pace with these sorts of packs, or even less, whatever they can keep up, I'll be in every time.
Well, the bloody New York Times guy came up with a crossword every day.
Yeah, that's true.
And these people are clearly very smart, so we should be getting one a day, is my
If we
Al
point.
get to
Jaffe
the
was doing
point-
fold-ins until he was like 90 something.
If people are standing around just in like, slowly animating back and forth saying like, it's what you would call a tractor if you were a mule, and giving you cryptic crosswords, I would be out of this game immediately after that.
It just turns into Wordle.
Bring back Wordle.
I went
It's
in on
still
Wordle
around.
the other day. Yeah,
Yeah.
I gave it a go.
Fuck, okay.
I mentioned Contexto on here a few
Yeah.
days ago, and some people are in on that on our Discord.
Yeah.
It's great fun.
Get on the Discord. It's a secret Patreon Discord. You can go to patreon.com/filthycasualspod. Yeah, I think just the main general chat channel has gone Contexto crazy.
Contexto's great.
Yeah.
It gets you that Wordle sucked in, got to do it every day type of feeling.
I was doing the Wordle the day of the King's coronation, and just because I guess that was in my brain, my first guess was crown. And I got 3 of the letters right. And I was like, all right. They know what they're doing.
I've got a system.
Grown. No, that would still use 4 of them if it was the... Anyway.
There's a game that I've been playing every damn day, and it's called Star Wars Jedi: Survivor.
Jet Star Wars Jedi : Jedi Survivor.
Jet Star Wars would be sick.
Yeah.
I guess that's just
Cold hard gun, got a dee. That's
Oh,
just
the
band
band.
Jet.
Yeah.
I was going to
Australian
say
band.
that's just an alternate title for Nick Cody's podcast, Mid-Flight Brawl. Jet Star Wars.
Jet Star Wars.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, you idiot, Luke Heggie.
Why didn't they call it that?
A safe guy to call an idiot.
Yeah, one of the nicest guys, Luke Heggie.
Why didn't they call
it's
it
great.
that? Because Heggie would have bashed himself if he had to say every week, "Welcome to Jet Star Wars."
Yeah. Yes, I'm like 10 hours in now to Jedi Survivor. I love it. I can't stop playing it. I do think the story is very like Star Wars boilerplate. It's always like either like the first one was like, oh, up and coming promising guy has a mentor, and then the Empire's bad, and this one is like semi-established guy has to deal with a version of himself that went evil. You know, like it's
light
very
versus dark within himself here.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
There's a MacGuffin there, and there's a MacGuffin over here to go find.
And there'll be
I
like-
don't like the sort of main villain.
yeah.
He's not good.
He
Darth
weirdly
Vader.
No.
Yeah.
I don't
the
like
one
him
in the
either.
game. I forget his name.
He a
but
bad man.
he's some other Jedi.
His voice acting weirdly sounded like Hayden Christensen at points. Very flat,
really?
very like monotone voice.
It's that, I guess he's probably doing it because of that, where it's like
Yeah.
the Sith thing is to be like, yeah, I'm a guy. Like every Sith is like your fucking weird roommate who just sits there eating Pringles and Mountain Dew all day, but they're actually kind of delicious. So I get it, brother.
And then like there's always got to be like a cocky pilot and an alien and a cocky human guy with guns, and like they just sort of like split off or merge together various like Star Wars character archetypes. But the gameplay is so good. I love the way that they've done the exploration and the platforming specifically. Like it really feels like a lot of fun. And it's like it's reminding me of some other games because it's got like, you know, you double jump and you're like mid-air dash and stuff.
Dash render. Don't worry. Anyway,
Peggy, get over here and bash
no,
this
no,
cunt.
don't. It won't work because my army of nerds who get me will run away with me.
How terribly droll.
I recognize that reference. So I'm loving the platforming. It's really, and the level design specifically.
Yeah.
I've just got past the thing that looks like a Death Star again. Like
Right.
so many familiar sort of
What's
tropes.
it called?
It's one of the things
got a
from episode
kill
1.
moon.
It's got
Is that the one you mean? The like thing in the swamp?
yeah.
Yeah. It's from episode 1. It's one of those Trade Federation ships.
Oh,
but just
yeah.
the ball out of the middle.
Yeah, and it's half built. It's half collapsed, so now it looks like a half-built Death Star. It's got a dumb name, and I refuse
Right.
to say it.
It's funny because I guess the challenge when you're making something like this is like you're saying it's very like tropey within Star Wars, but it's like we're making a game where fans of Star Wars are in the Star Wars universe, you know, so it's like you got to hit those beats and give people a bit of like,
Yeah, they're not-
this is what I would want if I was to be taking part in this world.
They're not trying to convert lapsed Star Wars fans. They're
Right.
just like, yeah, it's Star Wars.
And it's
Yeah.
not annoying or anything either.
no,
it's just
no,
like
it's just like it's
there.
not the strength of the game.
no. Well, when this game is like in the sort of vein of an Uncharted-y type of thing,
Right.
It's noticeable compared to that. But then the platforming stuff, like it sounds you're finding, is a cut above those because you're actually given things to do while you're platforming.
Yeah. It's more like I wish I could think of like not a Mirror's Edge, but
It's honestly like Jack and Daxter or something. Speaking
Right.
of
Oh, yeah.
speaking of Naughty Dog, it's more like a platforming game of that PS2 era where, yes, you're just climbing up a wall, for example,
Yeah.
like you would in a Uncharted. But for those, you're often just pressing up, and sometimes there's a gap with no threat, and you just press X to jump up it, and it just is time and a nice vista and whatever. But with this, there'll be little shocky things that you'll have to time your jumps around, or it'll be rotating and there'll be blades coming at you, like
Right,
the
you
God
gotta-
of
Yeah.
Wars on the PS2.
Anytime
and
like
stuff
the
like
jumping
that.
across a platform is just like a context specific,
Yeah.
but you know, you get
Basically
to the edge
automatic.
and a thing comes up and it's like, I can't misjudge the distance or like do it
Right.
at the wrong time or anything. It's like, it's automated.
I guess it reminds me of like Assassin's Creed 2 and the 2 sequels.
Something
era?
like that. But
Because I think that just Assassin's Creed 2 had more platforming challenges where it's like, well, it's not just pushing forwards. To get to the top of this cathedral, you're going to have to time this jump and jump on the wall and run
With
along
that,
here.
you
and-
were even just like holding R or whatever it was too, and
Yeah.
then just like running up a wall. Like this is noticeably a bit more fun with that platforming
Yes.
stuff than a lot of
Totally. And then
like this
I was
are.
going to say I brought up the Death Star. The level design in that, it's very much a Metroid style, like, you can go through here, unlock a shortcut back there, go through here, get a new power that means you can move a thing towards you. So you can go through this area and this area, and it's sort of based around this little hub, checkpoint, and you keep unlocking doors and sort of exploring further and further. And then, eventually when you leave there, you've got like a bunch of new powers. And I just love how that level was designed to make you feel like really rewarded from that sort of, loop of platforming and combat and a bunch of different stuff.
right. And
Yeah.
when you get more powers and go back, and that's what I sort of did a bit of after finishing it too.
Right.
Like go back and open the different colored door you couldn't get through before. That stuff is fun.
Yeah.
And in there and is enjoyable. Yeah. All of the are you finding you're playing it on PS5 as well? Are you
Yes.
noticing the sort of technical stuff much?
I think maybe my first couple of sessions playing it, but it's been updated, I think, twice since then.
Okay.
And so I've been playing it for pretty long stretches at a time the past few days and haven't really noticed any
No
technical
characters
stuff at
floating
all.
around and all of that sort of.
No, only
Right.
the first probably day where I noticed your AI companion in that start bit was like flickering or jumping around.
That's so frustrating if they've patched it this quickly.
right.
From it releasing, that it was noticeable while I was playing through it at release, and so
Right.
if what are we 2 weeks out from it now?
But
Yeah,
they also,
less,
they
yeah.
ship something and then there's they're often working on that stuff in the background kind
Yeah.
of as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
just if it ends up being negligible within a month of
Yeah.
release, it's like, well, could you have delayed it a month then?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
I know they can't, and it's money and all that stuff, but frustrating.
But yeah, no, I haven't, because it's quite finely tuned platforming. So I imagine if I was having any technical issues, it'd really fuck me off, because
Well,
it's not easy.
That
Yeah,
was the experience I had at times, yeah.
Right.
So, nah.
Yeah, but I'm loving it. I love the level of customization. There's unlocks, there's collectibles. That gives you a really big range of ways to do combat as well. You can have a blaster or a double-ended dildo lightsaber or two singles or
Yakuza style.
San Andreas was the OG in
Yes.
terms of dildo weapons. I reckon that was or Vice City. I don't remember which it was.
I think maybe it was Vice City.
Maybe.
That you get a giant, a broadsword lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
Like Kylo Ren's.
Yes.
He's got that big angry lightsaber.
Which people did compare the previous one to Dark Souls games, and having played Dark Souls since, I don't really see it, but I see the sort of vague influence of different
Yeah.
weapon types do change the way the combat is played.
Honestly, the camera angle is similar because you're
Right.
locking onto enemies, but beyond that, it is a lot more like an Arkham game or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. But so and I think I'm pretty far in. I'm not doing I'm not scouring every area.
Main story, I reckon you're about halfway-ish.
Right.
If you're at that bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great.
Cool.
It'll probably be the second game this year that I finish after Kirby.
Oh yeah. Hey, speaking of Dark Souls, by the way, I've been reading Berserk this week.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Legendary
You've been
manga.
reading Spot, but real angry.
Yeah, it's cited as a reference point for Dark Souls and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. You got to check it out. It's great.
I
Super
bet I'd love
gory.
it. I've always meant to.
That same, pretty quickly you can see oh yeah, that's the influence.
Right.
Big fucked up, gross character designs. There's a
Yeah.
king who's he's eating people and he's all squat and fucked looking, and then he turns into a big slug. It's awesome.
I've
It's
seen
so
people
cool.
call Dark Souls Guts Simulator.
Yeah,
Guts
totally.
is the main character.
And there is a Berserk. There's I think there's two or three games, but one of them is a Dynasty Warriors version of it, which
They did
sounds like it would be
one-
hell fun.
Oh, I'm thinking of Fist of the North Star. Never mind.
I think all of the anime is on Netflix as well.
Cool.
Yeah, and
Or
there's
it's somewhere, yeah.
there's a weird. I was looking
Because
it
he
up last.
died not that long ago, the
Yeah,
guy who was
yeah.
writing that, and then someone else is finishing it off, Brandon Sanderson style, I believe.
I think it might.
right.
Maybe his son. Maybe have invented that. But yeah,
or
they are
like his
gonna-
like
yeah.
protege or something. I think it was
Yeah.
someone
Right.
quite closely.
Because
in-
it's a long ass series.
It's
been
been
going
going
since the 80s,
since
right?
the mid
Yeah.
80s, and yeah, the animes of it, like there was one for like a couple of seasons in the 90s, and then there were a couple of films, and then there's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
series that's like a continuation from those films, and it is, you know, manga is generally like broken up into little storylines, so it'll be like, oh, this storyline has a series and this storyline has like not, you know, it hasn't like carried it all the way through.
Yeah.
It's kind of like pretty segmented, but the books are great. I got this like deluxe like omnibus thing that's like that thick, that's like got, I think it's, you know, those big ones that they do that'll have like 3 of the original kind of volumes all in one,
Right.
like
Yeah,
an
yeah.
omnibus edition.
I know the word omnibus. I'm omnibus playing Zelda every day.
Oh yeah, but it's cool.
brother.
It's like
What about this as well? What about a hedge maze, right, that shows Japanese animation in different parts of it, and it's called Animes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Animes,
Yeah.
animes. Yeah.
What
nice.
about that?
Yeah, cool.
I reckon we do it.
Just as an option.
but you got to watch the
reckon we
anime
go for it.
first.
Some
'cause
baffling up in there? Hell yeah.
Oh.
You got to watch the anime first, and then because it's animes and a maze, so it's got the maze has to follow.
There's
on from you
multiple
watching.
animes all through the
Also,
maze.
it'd be called, if there is baffling in it, it'd be a baffling animes. Because
It
it'd
could
be a
be-
confusing,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a
Yeah,
confusing
yeah.
maze.
Confusing, yeah.
Yeah.
What about we just call it Tommy's Bens and Adams?
Yeah. But it's like thick leather cover. Just something about sitting up
Yeah.
in bed, reading this like gothic horror fantasy, super violent, this like big
In your
thick,
fucking
like,
Crash Bandicoot sheets.
My dog was lying under me and I accidentally like dropped the book on his head.
Oh,
and
God.
It looked like it really hurt him.
Rest in peace,
He's
Cupid.
okay.
I've also been playing through a bit of Fire Emblem,
Oh, yeah.
trying to get that knocked off, and a new game came out at the start of the week on Apple Arcade.
Bullshit. Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You are right to be dubious about me bothering to mention Apple Arcade.
There's something else coming out on there soon that I like. Oh, there's like Very Little Nightmares is coming out. So and I
Yeah.
liked Little Nightmares, and it's a little iPhone version. But yeah, anyway, sorry.
There's a Ninja Turtles game too that looks kind of interesting.
I thought of you when I saw the Ninja Turtles because that's what you've cultivated.
What an honor! I think that's cool. What the Car was a surprise release at the start of the week from the makers of What the Golf. I hadn't seen this announced anywhere or
No.
anything like that. It just randomly came out.
When I was looking at it too, like the sort of app store stuff, it's difficult to even find that it's what the golf people, rather than the fact that it's similar art style. It's called What the Car, but like they've got it under a different name there. But it is. Those
It could
people,
be
I
a Mark
believe.
Maron game. We don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not.
We
though.
don't know.
But yeah, if you're familiar with What the Golf is a iPhone game. Well, no, it's on consoles and stuff too, right?
It's
I
at least
think it-
on the PC, I believe. I
Yeah.
don't know what. Maybe the Switch. I'm not sure.
I
if
think
it's on
started
everything.
out as a maybe it was like a timed exclusive Apple Arcade.
I
thing.
definitely played it on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golf game starts off. You just you scroll. You're like pulling down to time your shot, shooting your ball into the hole, and then what is it? Almost immediately, like the next hole, it's like you're hitting the golf club instead, and it's
Yeah.
like changes and
a
various
wacky game.
Wacky game. Various different
To
sort of
summarise.
obstacles and changes to the way that you're playing. And this is a similar thing. It's racing game, getting from A to B. You're controlling a little car, and then all of a sudden the car has legs, and then you've got a jetpack, or it'll be rolling around. And so every level that you're going into is like a different little gimmick. Little gives you a little thing at the start. Here's what you're doing. You're sort of learning the controls each time. You're using pretty standard, like using your left thumb to steer, holding down to accelerate. Or sometimes that's like a jump instead, and the movement is automatic. And it's cool. If you liked What the Golf, it's got that same sort of style of humor that's sort of wacky but not too grating.
Yeah.
Gets just to the line without tipping over into too much sort of online kind of humor.
Nice.
It's more creative than funny even,
Right.
It's just like, what's a strange way that you could approach something that's very typical and very tropey. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got yeah, or you get being graded on the level at the end of how fast you did it and how many of the little pickups you found. So there's, it's a good mobile game. It's incentivizing you to go back in and find all the little things that you missed the first time around. It's cool. It's like it's a perfect iPhone game. It was always strange to me that you could end up playing What the Golf on other things because it's just so made for, I think, the phone and the like little short burst thing. I would assume, given that this will come out on other stuff eventually. But yeah, if you've got Apple Arcade, you've got access to it.
Is it Apple Arcade only right now? Can you buy it on the App Store too, or just?
I don't know. I don't think so because I recommended it to a friend who I thought would really like it, and he's like, "I don't have Apple Arcade, bro."
Yeah,
I'm like, you're using an Apple product right now. You've almost certainly got access to it in some way or another.
That's cool. What the Car is What Rove drives. And you played Age of Wonders 4 is the other thing I remember.
So it's I didn't know this, but you tipped me off to this, Knox. And
I saw someone say it's a strategy game where your characters keep going, and I thought Ninja Turtles style, that's Ben stuff.
Yes.
Where Ninja Turtles is Tommy. Me, fucking
Mountain Dew and Pringles.
Shall we?
Let's be nice to each other.
The floor is open.
So yeah, I haven't played it long enough to get into that sort of persistent like generational character-y stuff.
Yeah.
But like surface level, it's made by Paradox, who make like Crusader Kings and all of those like 4X strategy games.
Yeah.
This is their latest one. They like the New York Times crossword guy, seem to pump these out.
There's always tons of them, especially for how much time these games want from you.
Yeah.
It's always sort of surprised me.
And it's similar to, I don't know, certain certain games and platforms and stuff. People will just keep playing one of the old ones.
Right.
People will be like, well, no, they changed, Crusader Kings 2 to 3. This I don't like as much, and also because they have all these expansions. So it's like I've put hours and hours and hundreds of dollars into Crusader Kings 2, so I don't want to continue. So they just make a million games a year. This one is the fourth in this series. The series is basically fantasy civilization. It's like a hex-based, turn-based city building, civilization building game. Mm-hmm. It's like a copy of Civilization.
Right.
Like Civ came out in the 80s, I think. First one, maybe.
Yeah, maybe early 90s, maybe. I think it might be like 1990. But I don't remember.
I think Civ 2 was like 1990s.
or something.
Yeah. I was a child when I played it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would have been 5.
So that would have been 6. Or 7. This is such a copy though that it felt a bit weird.
Okay.
Because it's just like, I don't need to do the tutorials because I've played Civilization several different times. But then it also has weirdly mixed in a bunch of stuff from there are other games. They're more like sprawling. This is your guy and this is his son and he's going to inherit the thing. So make sure you teach him how to be good at this, and this. Mm-hmm. But on the first 2 or 3 hours of play, it's like a better, more fun, more quality of life improvements version of Civilization 3, which is like a specific, one that I liked.
Right.
Where it's like, they didn't introduce this, and this to fuck around with it. It's just like you go around building cities and having little fights and stuff. And it looks great. The one thing I don't love about it is rather than sort of like real, nations and shit, it's like you're the rat men or you're
like
goblins.
Warhammer style or whatever.
It's all Warhammer style. Dark elves and light elves and dwarves.
Race versus race.
I guess
Charles Manson told me it's coming.
I guess that's a way to put it. Yeah. So I'm not. I've definitely gone through phases of loving fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm in a phase of liking history, so it's just a bit of a. It's just not quite the aesthetic hook that is going to work for me. But if you've always loved that stuff, you're a Warcraft fan, you're all of that. And you like Civilization, it's just a no-brainer. It's the best version of that.
Cool.
I saw this one getting a good reception from the folks who are in. So, yeah.
And I think it's a shame, but the previous one was on Game Pass, and this one is not. and like
okay.
Crusader Kings 3 is on Game Pass, but this game is not. So it's not just like a Paradox thing. They all go on there.
Right.
So you're going to have to shell out some clams for it, some simoleons. But if you're looking for like a good new Civilization game, or like you liked Civ 3 and you haven't been loving the latest ones, it's a really, really good version of it.
Sick.
I'm having fun.
It's also, in context of the video, a very funny game to talk about when flanked by cans of Pringles like their AFL goals, which no longer has any context if someone's just watching that.
Yep.
And I'm realizing we probably should have taken them off the table as we went.
These are the castle towers of my keep.
I'll throw 8D Mountain Dews, and just whichever way up the cans land is my dice roll.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
But I think that's all I played this week.
Yeah, nice.
It's been a
That's
good week of games.
Yeah. Well, we will be back next week.
They've tried to shut us down.
It's the big one.
We'll be
It's the
back.
big one.
Clean table and dirty bodies. I'm willing to bet,
excited.
because showering gets replaced by Zelda for the next few weeks for me, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, we haven't talked about this on the pod, but I've got a theory that we're about to see a return of our favourite meme, Goodbye Girlfriend. Now, you went looking for the hashtag on Instagram, and the
And
most
on
recent
Twitter
post
and,
from
yeah.
like 8 years ago.
I think Star Wars Battlefront 1 was like one of the
Okay.
There
Right.
are more recent ones than that. I think it was like top posts. But so one of the most liked Goodbye Girlfriend posts was Battlefront 1. It was all PS4 shit.
Okay.
Right.
So
yes.
I reckon it's not making a comeback.
We'll see. We'll
Personally,
find out.
Well, we got to wait until Tears of the Kingdom comes out, and that might be the one that tips it over.
I think it won't.
I think it could be. And
Let's
guys,
place a bet.
we need you all
I-
listening. Don't try and tip the scales here.
No.
We need you to remain
No.
impartial.
Please.
Yeah. Just do what comes naturally. I agree. It won't come back.
Okay. Well,
It's
Tommy,
it's old. It's done.
if it comes back, me and Ben have to ride the bus every day, no switch.
Oh, okay.
But
Yep.
Okay.
if we're right, you've got to do that no switch bus ride. Just do it raw.
Okay.
See how sad it makes
This is
you.
a win-win for me because I don't play the Switch on the bus.
You'll wish
I've
you
never-
did when Tears of the Kingdom's out.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out in 24 hours, and the listeners will find out in 7 days.
Yeah.
And hey, if you're on our Patreon, we will be asking for your thoughts
Yes.
on the game, as we often do with the big releases.
Oh yeah, we've got some more Redfall thoughts if we want to. I mean, they're all negative.
I had a look and I did see that they were all
Yeah.
pretty much.
So, like, sorry to everyone who's commented, but it almost makes it like a bit redundant when every single person hated this game.
and
but
the
we
purpose
hear
of that
you.
kind of stuff is for anyone listening who's on the fence. No one's on the fence at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone
Everyone's
hates it. So
tuned out.
we've taken you as a group.
I'll take Rick's comment as a sort of representative one. It has a really cool atmosphere, but is completely undermined by bland combat and PS1 era AI. All I can say is glad it was on Game Pass. So
Right.
that kind of sums it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking forward to my favorite thing of Breath of the Wild was just the day it came out, the chatting about it with other people, everyone going off in different directions immediately and doing different stuff, and so I'm looking forward to chatting with people during the week,
And
seeing what everyone gets up to.
Weird, annoyingly, because of the way Nintendo release stuff and the fact that their review embargoes are quite close to the game release,
Right.
we won't get to read reviews until like 3 hours before it comes out
I
here.
think it's 10
No
p.m.
review could
tonight,
change my mind
yeah.
about what I'm going to do with this game. I quit a job to play more Breath of the Wild last time. I've just remembered.
But yeah, I'm more just curious to see what those like all of the publications are saying about it because
Yeah.
that's part of the conversation.
It's an event.
Big
They
game.
don't make these. You know, they really take their time with these. So yeah, a week with a new Zelda in it. It's exciting.
Yeah. We'll be back to talk about it in a week.
Yeah.
Until then, filthycasuals.com.au is where you can find the links to all of the stuff that we're doing. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out the
Yes.
Patreon. Get on there. Get an extra episode every week where we talk movies, TV shows. We're currently recapping Succession in a little
Yes.
sealed section. No spoilers before that.
It's called a sealed suck section.
Sealed suck section,
Please.
sorry. I want to inspire people to sign up who aren't on there already. So check out all of that. We'll see you next week. And until next time, as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals.
I still trust Phil Spencer, even though he killed all those beetles or whatever. Spectre. The blank look you gave me.
You should have said it to me.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why. It just...